Welcome to this third session of the PLM Global Green Alliance, talking with PLM vendors about their sustainability offerings, experiences and plans. Before we spoke with SAP and we spoke with Autodesk about their plans and offerings. Now we have the honor to talk with Dassault Systemes, with Florence Verzelen and Xavier Adam. Welcome Florence, welcome Xavier. And let's start with you, Florence. Can you tell me something about yourself and your connection to sustainability?
Definitely, Joss, and it's a pleasure to be with all of you today. Well, at Dassault Systems, I'm Executive Vice President, Industry, Marketing and Sustainability. And at Dassault Systems, our purpose is sustainable innovation. So obviously, sustainability is a key topic for us.
Okay, great. And Xavier, your connection to sustainability?
Thanks for having us here, yes, and Klaus. So Xavier Adam, I'm head of sustainability solution team, and my connection to sustainability come back to my engineering school. I had the chance to have a training on the basis of sustainability at that time, and it was very eye-opener for me to have that as part of my curriculum. Because I had some readings and I had some articles that really showed me how much the human interaction impact the environment. And here I am now, after some years in the Delmia brand. I'm part of the sustainability team, helping to shape our portfolio around this big challenge.
So you're really helping to shape the dream and what you studied for. Okay, Florence, Xavier, let's start with Dassault Systems and their sustainability goals and plans. Can you give us some more details?
Of course, as I mentioned, our purpose is sustainable innovation. We want to make the world more sustainable thanks to our digital solutions. And for that, we have, of course, adopted a sustainability plan. And we have 3 pillars in that plan. First, we want to walk the talk, meaning we have our own science-based target initiative plan, 2027, and we want to be net zero by 2040 in order to be exemplar before selling sustainable solutions to our customer. And second, we want to empower our customer to be more sustainable. So we have committed last year that by 2025, 2/3 of our sales will come from solutions that will help our customer to be more sustainable, beginning with eco-design that we have launched at the beginning of the year. And the third pillar is embarking our ecosystem. And it's extremely important for us because, we are in the decade to deliver for climate change. And if we do not embark with us a majority of stakeholders, association, customers, suppliers, then we won't be able to meet the challenge of the decade. So we have a target of 5,000 stakeholders working with us on that challenge by 2025. So this is really the way we tackle sustainability: walk the talk, create the portfolio, embark our ecosystem. And since we have begun this approach, we are working with more and more customers. And I'm particularly proud of some examples like aviation, where we have helped a company launch an electric plane, or Arda Group, that we have helped reduce the weight of their glass bottles for them to be more sustainable in the way they produce their bottles.
Okay, so I think you mentioned 2025 as a target with a quite high number of sustainable customers. How do you think, will they come to you or do you have to fight for them?
Well, both. Meaning we are very vocal on that topic. Xavier and myself, we believe it's very important. So more and more are coming to us because they see what we say, they see how we engage. So some of them are coming to us. And we are also empowering all our sales team to come to our customer and help them engage in sustainability. And for our sales team, it's a different conversation. They used to engage on design, on engineering, on PLM, and now it's about engaging on how they can help our customer to become sustainable, circular, or net zero. So we are really working on empowering them. And And well, we're quite impressed so far in the way it's working. So I'm rather happy. And on top of that, we have great partners. For example, we did a study with Accenture that we released last year that is showing the impact of virtual twin on sustainability. And in this study, we have shown that with just 5 use cases of 5 industries, we could save 7.5 gigaton of CO2 by 2030, which is the equivalent of 1 year of the world transportation emission.
Okay, great. And I think the first part, it's about awareness, enablement, and of course, secondary with PLM, you have to guide your customers towards solutions. Xavier, can you tell me something about the solutions that Dassault is providing?
So definitely, as you know, since many years at Dassault Systems, we are building PLM and CAD as what we call the virtual twin, which is a unique representation for a product or process or system, enabling multi-discipline collaboration to model, to simulate, and to manufacture digitally. So actually, we are doing sustainability without knowing it for decades, because actually we use the virtual worlds in order to test and try and do good for the first time. So this is totally what was demonstrated with this Accenture white paper. But for sure, we need to go beyond that. So that's why we are pushing hard on the eco-design approach. Eco-design is a norm. Eco-design is an enterprise innovation process. So the company needs to reinvent themselves and collaborate more multidiscipline. So this is where the collaborative platform is key. And we are pushing boundaries by providing LCA, life cycle assessment, on top of this virtual twin, which is unique because it helps to do many iterations of design, modeling, and simulation, which in very early design stage your environmental target, because as Florence said, as a company now, we are ourselves as a system have some SBTi commitment, but more and more of our customers are going into that journey. So we have to help them, and we have the right tool for that.
The life cycle assessment solution, is this mainly focused on greenhouse gas, or is this will this cover also other aspects?
So the life cycle assessment we are providing is based on several environmental methods. There is one from the IPCC which is only on greenhouse gases, but you're right, the value added of such solution that they are holistic, meaning LCA is multi-criteria, so you will account the water, the biodiversity impacts, the resource depletions, as well as carbon emissions. So it's a multi-criteria, but also accounting for the different life cycle stages. So you will not only focus on the use of your product, but you also look at the way it's manufactured. Was it manufactured locally? The logistic, does it involve supply chain complex with lots of transport, and also the end of life, which is an important topic, because what you want to do with LCA is to avoid shift between one life cycle stage, or what we call pollution shift. So this is a holistic approach that ensure, I would say, science-based environmental measurements, and helping the designers really to hold the keys of sustainable innovation.
So I think the challenge in all these assessments is always to break down the information you get for your enterprise or for your product, then really for the individual engineer. Is there a specific approach you take to really give the designer at the end the possibility to calculate in what he is going into, or how do you address this gap?
So usually what's most time consuming for the LCA traditional approach is the data collection. Here, if we imagine a customer that is already using our solution or starting to use our solution, it will already have the BOM information with the material, the weight of the different components. So the advantage of having that with the PLM is you don't have disconnect because the LCA software today, you have a disconnect between the LCA, which is done by few environmental experts. So if the BOM evolves in the PLM, you don't know it and you need to update it. So this is an important value we see, having the digital continuity offering by the platform and being able to do many iterations. Like usually you do a LCA at the end of your development process, product development process, but it's too late because you already engage with your suppliers, choose your materials and your manufacturing process. Here, it's really a proactive approach, and you can very early in the design, you can identify what we call the hotspots. So the BOM items where you have a more impact and try different alternative approach.
Okay, yeah. So here you really benefit from the I would say the direct connectivity of the data to the design. And maybe coming back to that, Florence, a question for you. You talked about the virtual twin with discussion with Accenture, also the white paper. Not all our watchers are so much experienced. Can you explain us a little bit the virtual twin, where it is used, and what are the benefits for the environment? Because it might look like a technical term.
Yes, and I hope at some point it will stop to be a technical term to be widely used. A virtual twin is basically the digital representation of an object, a process, or a company that you can use to better collaborate. Because basically when you're doing the design of your project, like aviation did for the electric plane, both the designers, the engineers, and the one working on the smart manufacturing were working on the same digital twin of the product in order for them to work all together. So to prevent the fact that some people are working on a design and that it passed to the engineers that are modifying a little bit the design, and then the people who manufacture modify it a little bit. The fact that you have one single virtual twin allows everybody to work on exactly the same object. And when you do change in the design, to be able to see the change that needs to be done in engineering in that case. And the beauty of the virtual twin when it comes to sustainability is exactly that. Because everybody is working on the same product, you can see what has the maximum impact in terms of sustainability, where your maximum emissions come from, where your less sustainable materials are used, and you can try alternate designs, alternate engineering in the virtual twin before producing only, if you want, your more sustainable options. So you can basically optimize everything in the virtual world before production.
Exactly. Yeah. You have your trade-offs before really committing to the hardware and the reality and discovering it late. Huh?
Exactly. That's the beauty of it. And then at the later stage, what you can also do is to have not only the virtual twin of your product, but the virtual twin of your company. So if you want your company to become net zero, you are with a virtual twin of your company and all the process of your company modeled in the 3D Experience platform, you can see where most of the emissions come from, and then you can adapt, improve, optimize all your processes in order to have the most sustainable company possible. So you can have different level of twin: product, system, company.
So I think the virtual twin of a company is very ambitious. Do you have already kind of customers that are working in that direction?
We have a lot of customers working in that direction. The only company that really has a virtual twin of its company is Dassault Systemes, time being. But we're working with, we're engaging with some customers on that. And we really think it's the real way forward. If you want to become more sustainable, you really need to monitor where the possibility of improvements are. And with your virtual twin, you can have this, you really can have this analysis at any scale.
So basically, we are adding a new dimension. Usually with PLM, you optimize your cost, quality, annual delay. So we are adding the environmental target, and if you look at our LCA solution, we have the sustainability manager that sets the target for its product, and he will review how much he achieved toward this target while the design evolves. So it's really a new dimension and a new paradigm for all the innovation process to have this environmental target in mind.
Exactly, that's why also with the Green Alliance we believe that PLM can be the infrastructure to do this. It's the only one that can be across the whole life cycle, where maybe historically we are only design centric, but we should also look at the full life cycle of the products and the systems that we design. Klaus, any points from your side?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a wide field, right? And the challenge to gather all the information to one system, I think, is quite huge. So if you want to consider greenhouse gases, water, waste management, and all these things, is there a specific partnership you do with other companies who gather this kind of information so that it can be imported into your system, or do you plan to gather your data by yourself and provide to your customers?
So yes, we have partnership. In particular, together with Xavier, we have worked out a partnership with a company called EcoInvent. Mm-hmm. EcoInvent has the most extensive database of sustainability information, including if you use electricity in some countries, how much CO2 does it use, because does it require, because it's not the same CO2 depending on the country. And they really have this detail of information in basically everywhere around the world. And this partnership with EcoInvent is just the beginning. Our intention is really to have as many partnerships with data providers that will be useful for our customers and help them save time on that very urgent topic.
Okay. Yeah. And there is a strong also driver from the regulators for in France or in Europe in general. The European Commission is pushing hard for that, and we are working also on topics like the digital product passport, which is an enabler for circular economy, helping to track from the design up to the reuse, recycling, the different cycle of the product. And PLM is also key here because it holds all the information on the product. So we are working also with the teams here in order to get ready and get our customer ready for this incoming regulation.
Is there a specific approach you take with these material passports? I mean, I think everyone can imagine how it's supposed to work, but if you then go down into the PLM technology, I think you struggle a little bit with the question, how do I prove really that this screw came from somewhere, right? So is there a specific approach you're taking?
So the key for that is what we call the serialization of the product. So you have the product as designed, as manufactured, and you have as serialized. So you need to keep track, and we already have that in our MES system. We are able to serialize for the regulation requirement in aerospace and defense to identify a specific serial number of a product. So this is something we already do. So it's an extension of our current portfolio, let's say.
Okay, interesting.
What type of customers are now from you, from which industries are the leading ones in sustainability?
Well, transportation and mobility have been the first. There was a lot of regulation coming with electric cars. So we really have seen a lot of momentum in transportation and mobility. Since 2 or 3 years, we are seeing a lot of momentum on aerospace and defense as well. Aerospace because of the hydrogen plane, the electric plane, everything that comes to that. And then we have everything related to consumer packaged goods retail, home and lifestyle, and high tech that are really following the momentum because the consumer are actually requesting sustainable products. And if companies want to keep their customer, well, they need to adapt. So these are really for us the front runners in terms of sustainability. But you know, we did a study with the Financial Times end of last year, and what this study has shown is that basically sustainability was seen as a priority for more than 60% of the boards, but only 20 to 30% have really begun to take action. And we believe in the next few months and years, sustainability topics and engagement in sustainability are going to be very, very important because our customers are really seeing the need to act and to act fast from whatever industry they come from.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see. After COVID, we said the world will never be the same. But meanwhile, our Schiphol airport is again overflown by people that want to fly finally after 2 years again. So I think aerospace has this huge drive for sustainability with hydrogen planes or others.
Yeah, or sustainable fuel.
Or sustainable fuel, because from the I would say for the end users, there is probably in consumer packaged goods the most influence on sustainability, less on transportation. Electric cars remain still for the happy few in some countries.
Yes, but it's getting momentum, and it's getting momentum in a lot of companies. If you take company like GLR, they've announced that they will be fully electric in a few years from now, and more car OEMs are taking the same commitment. So at the end of the day, that we will need R&D, but electric cars will get cheaper, and they will be the norm. And we really see that happening. Of course, electric planes might take a little bit more time. Sustainable boats, probably LNG or hydrogen boats, are also going to take a bit more time than electric cars. But we're really seeing a lot of R&D in that field.
And do you also see that companies are changing their business model instead of delivering a product to have a product as a service model, but also the European Union is promoting in the Green Deal? Do you see this happening?
Yes. In transportation and mobility, yes. From selling car to becoming a mobility provider is really a very important trend. In consumer goods, we are seeing that happening more and more, but also in construction, where business models are changing. So yes, from product to experience is the way we call it at Dassault Systems. But we see this trend happening more and more. And again, because the customer don't want to own it anymore. It's really a transformation that is both driven by regulations, but also by the customers.
Yeah, and customers are asking also more and more second life because it's ecologically more sustainable, but also because it's less costly often. And we see also this trend in the industries and in some of our customers that are pushing this second life, and we really think that this is key, and we are proposing some solution around marketplace to connect buyers and suppliers, and around the circular economy. It's really key also to valorize resource. Don't see it as waste, but food for another company, and we see a growing trend in that field.
So Xavier, you were mentioning the circular economy, which for us is also a topic that is closely connected to sustainability. What are you doing on that topic? Are you educating your customers? Do you provide also solutions towards a circular ways of working?
Yeah, we have currently some training. So we are working internally with a network of sustainability leads, which are basically implementing the sustainability compass strategy Florence mentioned in the intro. And we have put them into a very good class from the Xavier University about circular economy, because we really think that the revolution in terms of the business model, being more efficient in the energy use and the material also, is very key. As you see, many geopolitical disruption, many disruption in general these years. So you need to be more resilient. So being able to use more local, be more frugal is also a key aspect.
And what we want to provide is also solutions that allow our customer to be circular by design. meaning with the virtual twin of your product, you can already plan for the second life of the parts of your product, on the third life and the fourth life, so you can plan the circularity with your virtual twin. So that's really what we want to provide to our customers and our ecosystem.
I think also as a PLM guy, I would expect you would jump in and say modularity.
Yeah, for sure. Modularity, design for dismantling, design for recyclability. It's key. So we are pushing the boundaries of the PLM. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Especially across enterprises, right? I mean, I think it's nice to think that you would think about the afterlife of your product, what you design. But I think the truth at the end is that you have an idea, but someone else will have to take it from there. So I think you're not only hitting the boundaries of a PLM from a design perspective, but also from an enterprise perspective, right? But because you would need access to these kind of data across several enterprises, what makes it then more complex and more difficult as well, right?
Yes, but it will be fostered by the digital passport. If each product has a digital passport, then the coordination between the enterprise will be easier to manage. And it's also easier with the virtual twin, because if you have the virtual twin and everybody can connect to the virtual twin, you can plan all together with the suppliers, with your partners, the next life.
Yeah, I agree. But still, you have to let other people participate in the digital twin. So it's really a question how you can support or foster the collaboration between these enterprises in one model or with handovers with passports and things like that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I think that's in general the big challenge for everyone, to be data driven, to have connected data sources instead of shifting data in documents, because then you are too slow to really act on your product development and your product operations. And I think the digital product passport, Xavier, as you mentioned, I think the European Union is starting with it.
Yes, on few pilots, with battery and electronic device.
Yeah, because we understood also, there's also about data sourcing and having the reliable data. Are you doing anything on that topic? On working towards the digital product passport?
Yeah, we have few initiatives with early customer that wants to anticipate the regulation. So today they have siloed information. They have some regulatory information on one side. They have their PLM, and they want to connect the dots. And basically, a PLM is just about connecting all the data together in order to get ready for the future regulation, but also to be ahead of the regulation, clearly.
So do you have the feeling in Europe that the regulations are really pushing this topic? Because in the US, it's really a lot of companies who are just taking up this kind of topic and not so much the regulations. And I think it's always difficult, especially for software development, to consider all the aspects of regulations, because then you have to collect different data and run different reports and have to change everything again. Is it really the regulation in Europe they pushing this kind of topic, or is more coming from the industry itself?
Well, I think Europe is pushing a lot with digital passport, but also with the EU taxonomy. The fact that each product, even software in the EU has to be declared either green or not green, and it has to be audited, is super important, because it sets a level of demand, requirements, really clear requirements towards the industry on what is green and what is not green. And more, because companies are going to take sustainability commitment, companies are going to only buy green software, green products, etc. So really, I think EU is a front runner when it comes to sustainability. So the companies that are working in EU will be in advance compared to the other companies in the world, and can basically set the trend.
And there is also another trend. Investors are looking more and more closely on ESG metrics, and European taxonomy, Florence mentioned, is really helping to define a common framework or what is a green activity for an industrial who making wind turbines, or for a software company like us who provide solution around sustainable innovation. Because as for now, there were not universal definition of what is a green activity. So Europe is leading that, and all the other countries are looking at this because it's the first time in history. So there had some debate internally in Europe, but finally we have a definition of what is a green activity, and we can rely on it. And it's a regulatory process that can be audited, so it's very robust.
So one of the questions I always hear is, what is it going to cost? Is it more expensive? Is it more difficult to be green? Or is there an ROI? Do you have any experience on that, on working on a virtual twin, on working on life cycle assessment? Is it proactive or is it already directly beneficial?
So I don't have the figure in mind, but there are some studies on companies that deploy the eco-design principle, and in fact, you gain a lot in a brand image of having this, because if you look at the young generation, they want, if they buy a product, they want the product to be best in class in terms of environmental commitment of the company and the way the product was built. So this is clearly an important thing to have in mind, the brand image. And if you want to shift to product as a service, then you need to be profitable as a company, to have products that last longer. So it's very it's very beneficial for that aspect.
Okay. So we talked about the virtual twin and its applications on the whole life cycle. We talked about life cycle assessment. Is there anything that is coming up from Dassault beside those topics that we will see in the sustainable domain coming up?
Well, the way we tackle our sustainable offer is eco-design, then it's sustainable manufacturing, then it's sustainable supply chain, because with the virtual twin of your supply chain, you can also optimize everything. And as you know, a lot of the emissions are coming from the supply chain. And then it's virtual twin of the company. So these are really the different levels when we are working, on which we are working in order to help companies to become as sustainable as possible, as circular as possible, and as quickly as possible.
Exactly. I'm glad to hear the supply chain, because often this is, in a PLM world, when you're so focused on your own company, not considered as important. But also, according to McKinsey and Gartner, this is the area where the biggest benefits and the biggest impact is on your product design and development, managing your design of supply chains in the right manner.
Yeah, and you need, my greenhouse gas, you need scope 3, right?
Exactly. This is a big challenge, scope 3.
Big challenge. Not sure if there's an entry in the product passport about CO2.
Okay, I think in a way we have seen a very nice overview of all the topics that Dassault is addressing related to sustainability. Maybe if there are people that want to learn more, can you give us some hints and tricks to learn more?
Of course. I mean, you can always go to our website, 3ds.com, and there is a full section on sustainability, on our sustainability offer. And do not hesitate to go there, or even to come to me and Xavier directly, either through LinkedIn or through email, because we will be super happy to share and to know more about what you think about what we are doing.
Okay, so we will share the links also when we publish the discussion. Any topics that we forgot to mention?
Well, we are in the decade to deliver. Let's do it as soon as possible.
So we come back before 2025. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Then thank you very much for your time and your contribution to this series. I think we learned a lot, and I'm happy to see that we are addressing the full life cycle. So thank you again very much for your contribution.
And thank you for inviting us. It was a real pleasure. And again, don't hesitate to contact us if you want to know more.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.